What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben, and welcome to the very first episode of the 2019 Eggplane Group Build, being hosted by Charlie Mack and Munchkin Modeling Man. We are going to be diving in on this one because, well, why wouldn't we? To be honest, this is such a neat idea, and these Eggplane kits are super cute and so much fun. So let's go ahead and check it out. Now, I went down to the local hobby store and I picked up this. It's an F-16 Fighting Falcon by Hasegawa, of course, Eggplane series, number 3. And this is actually very hard to come by. They only had 4 Eggplane series kits in that entire store, at least that I found. And 2 of them were repeats, and one was $50. So I picked up this one because it's the cheapest of all the kits, and also it looked the best. So I went ahead and went with the F-16. Now, let's go ahead and just unbox it, take a look at what's inside, and see what we have in store for us. So let's go ahead and open up the lid here, and let's see how many parts we have. All right, here we go. 1 poly bag, and it looks like there's just 1 sprue. Very, very simplistic aircraft, but that's awesome. That's half the fun of these types of build because they are so simple, and you can just do a whole bunch of really cool things with them. So that's it, just 1 poly bag with 1 sprue. All the parts you need right there. Of course, we also have some clear parts, and this is the only clear part we have in the entire kit. This is the Canopy. It's very different shape than what I would assume would be an F-16, but honestly, it fits with the overall theme of the aircraft, so that should work just fine. Looks like we have a top half and a bottom half of the fuselage with the wings already connected. Wings are only on the top half, and they are double-sided, so that's nice. We have our tail. We have, looks like, some landing gears. We have some very interesting super deformed missiles, so that's kind of neat. You have 2 different sheets of decals. One looks like for stencils and all that, so that's interesting. And one we have here looks like different markings and our, looks like call signs and all that good stuff. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the instructions and see what we have in store for us there. If the kit is any indication, it shouldn't be a lot of instructions here, to be honest. Opening it up, and yeah, we have 2 steps. That's about it. But that's fine. I mean, honestly, there's not a lot to this aircraft. Now, for paint, we have 2 different versions. We have these types of markings right here, and we have the US markings right there. Same paint scheme. We have the white undersurface with the 2-tone gray up top. So that's pretty easy, pretty cool. Other than that, though, looks like we have all the decal placements. Should be pretty simple. So you know what? Let's not waste any time, guys. Let's jump right on in to the Eggplane. I've never built one of these before, but they look like just a ton of fun. So let's go ahead and cue up the time lapse, and let's get this thing more or less started. So let's do it. All right, everybody, our egg plane is more or less together. As you can see here, we have our fuselage together, we have our intake on, we have our rear tail, and we actually did do a little bit of drilling here on the gun port and of course on the intake. So, might as well have some fun with it. The last part we do have to install here for the main body is the engine, at least the tail cone. And this is the existing tail cone as it is right here. It's not bad. It's shallow. It fits with the overall design of the airplane, but this is kind of our cartoony egg plane. So why don't we do something a little bit different? Like I said, this is the original. So I want to actually do something different and create one out of this. This is a tail cone from a F-104 starfighter. And this actually can fit right up inside there with a little bit of surgery. We can actually give this thing a beefy looking engine, which I think would be kind of fun and kind of cool. Of course, there isn't actually any sort of internals, so I've made this. Just a quick scratch build. These are actually two hubs glued together. The bottom hub is from a 1/32 scale Ki-84, and the top hub is actually from the same F-104 where the tail cone came from. So again, I just pulled these out of my parts box, and we're just going to make something that looks cool. Now I also have this piece of styrene. I'm going to use that as a backing. Here is the rear tail cone. Let's go ahead and glue that down as well to that cardstock, and I think we should be pretty decent. We can just then trim off the excess, and I think we'll have ourselves a very cool looking engine. Now we use scissors to go ahead and just cut off the excess, and now I'm going to take my file and we're just going to file down just the squared off edges so this nice and round and everything looks good. So it all kind of tapers in and fares in together. Honestly, this is kind of a crazy thing to do. I know this is an egg plane. I don't know why I'd be spending that much time on an egg plane, but the whole reason for building this is just to have fun. With any build I do, there's a bit of a challenge that goes into that, and this is just another challenge. Can I retrofit an actual 1/48 scale F-104 engine into an egg plane to give it a bit of character, to give it a bit more power, and just to see what it looks like, And I have a good idea this should just fit right in there as soon as I do a bit of surgery on the back of the aircraft. So now let's go ahead and cue up that time lapse, and I'm going to go ahead and get this engine fitted inside the actual egg plane itself. Shouldn't be too difficult. With an X-Acto knife and then some jeweler files, we should be able to get this thing all squared away. So let's do it. All right, guys, this looks awesome. I love how this looks. We're just going to glue in this rear tail cone. And as you can see, it's not perfect, but this is supposed to be fun. And this actually has a lot of power in it. Looks like it's like a giant rocket booster as opposed to the traditional engine it comes with. There's nothing wrong with the basic kit one. I just wanted something more exciting. So before we go ahead and call it quits for tonight, guys, I wanted to go ahead and do a little bit of work here on the missiles. I think these are supposed to be sidewinders. Now they actually hook into the very edges of the wings, and they don't have a lot of detail to them. And again, I know this is supposed to be just kind of fun, and I wanted to try something a little bit different, so I actually scratch built this sidewinder out of some old sidewinders I had sitting around. It's cool, but it doesn't really have that kind of roundish, cartoonish feel. So we're going to go ahead and stick with the actual rockets it comes with. But instead of just having a flat bottom there, we've actually decided to drill out the back of the missiles themselves. Now to do that, I've just taken my X-Acto knife and I've started a hole and I've just drilled it out using 2 different drill bits, one on the end of my pin vise and one that I just had lying around. I just went ahead and used the center point of that X-Acto knife to go ahead and start my starting hole there. Once that is done, I'll grab my pin vise and I'll use the smallest drill bit to go ahead and drill a little bit deeper right at that starting point. It's going to give us a really nice, like a stepped appearance for the inside of where the rocket engine would be for this missile. At least, well, that's what I'm going for. I don't know if it's exactly 100% true, but that's what I'm going for. So now let's take our other drill bit here, and we're just going to, with our own hands, just rotate this slowly and just drill down through it. Once this is actually done though, guys, we will have more or less all the parts and pieces ready for painting. The next episode, we're going to finish off the aircraft itself. We're going to start mounting up the landing gears and the rear tail fins, the ones that come out of the bottom of the fuselage. And we have to paint up the cockpit and the pilot and the wings and the underside of the aircraft. We have to paint it all up as well. So next episode, that's my plan. We're going to jump back on in here. We're going to get this egg plane more or less ready to rock. And then last episode, well, decals and maybe some weathering. You never know. Until then, guys, go out, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, go build yourself an egg plane. Just enjoy yourself there on the modeling bench. And we'll see you back here next week for more egg plane fun. Take care, and we'll see you soon.